So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start working on, we just worked the haro, and we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to work right up the center of the body for the conception vessel, and then we're going to go right into compression of the arms to loosen the arms, and trace the three yin meridians of the arm, which are lung, pericardium, and heart. So after compression and some stretching, we're going to go and thumb the meridians so you know where they're at, have a feel for them in the physical body. And then we're going to do the source points, which happen to be all on the wrist base. So there's three more source points that we're going to learn: heart, pericardium, and lung. And then, still not satisfied, we continue. And we're going to do the yang meridians on the arm. And we're going to do some compressions here. And then we're going to trace the three yang meridians of the arm, which are large intestine, triple walnut, and small intestines. So some of these meridians, one thing about that exercise I just had you go through, you know, different people were tight in different areas, so you all had different experiences locating individual meridians. So some of you have done either small intestine or heart or pericardium already. So when we get to that point of tracing, I want you to have the manual, thumbing, I want you to have the manuals available. And I just wanted to demo it enough to give you an idea of where they're at. Okay, so starting
Yeah.
So we're just going to work up nice central channel. And then we're going to go right into palmar compression here on the inside of the humerus, positioning our body so that the work is in front of us and we can really let our weight sink in. So then we're going to take compression into the forearm. So we utilize all body parts here. So this is a lovely way of compressing here where we're stabilizing with two hands and then come up with our knee. Plus you get an opportunity to come from haro really nicely. And then just continue some general loosening. So the three yin meridians of the arm start in and around the chest. And the three meridians are lung, pericardium, and heart. Okay. So the lung meridian starts just below the clavicle, coming out lateral. You'll feel a little indentation below the clavicle. And one thumb width below that is lung 1. So feel on yourself, clavicle. Just go right below the clavicle and start working out laterally. And you'll feel a little dip in the musculature. You feel? Got it? Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So right a finger width below that, in between the ribs and the intercostal space is lung 1. That's where lung 1 is. So it's a little dull.
Is it to the inside of the coracoid process?
Oh yeah.
Okay. For sure.
Directly below this little indentation you'll feel in the musculature below the clavicle. One finger width below that. So that you can use that as a landmark. So, and then the meridian comes up and it goes over the deltoid. And it comes in between the bicep and the tricep. So we all have these little grooves here. So the meridian starts here and it comes over the deltoid and it goes between the bicep and the tricep, this little groove right here. And it comes on the soft portion of the forearm, right at the tip of the thumb. So when we're thumbing the meridian, we start in the beginning here and come over the deltoid. And we can just let our thumb come right in between the bicep and the tricep. So it's easy to work it this way. Just let your thumb go right into that groove, just like that. Y'all see? So this is lung meridian. And then with the hand up, it comes on the soft portion or the forearm, comes right in line with the thumb and out. So in thumbing, you just want to go from the crease of the elbow right to the wrist crease. So nice pressure. The source point is right at the wrist crease, just in line with the base of the thumb. So feel on yourself, you'll see, just draw a line, please. Come down, and right in line with the thumb, there's a little indentation at the end of the wrist crease. And if you take your hand and just bring it towards you a little bit, you should feel a dull ache. That's the source point for lung breathing. Yep. Yep. Everybody okay with that? Finding that, John? Okay, so when you look, the meridian is coming here. So there's a little indentation right there in line with the thumb. So if you press and then move the thumb towards you, you should go into it pretty well. And then from here, it's right in the pad of the thumb, right where I was told should be a subo, because it's always sore. So, okay. And then right out the corner of the nail. So that's lung meridian. Okay? Everybody good? Okay. Next, pericardium meridian. It starts, if you see the contour of the pec major, right? And on the lateral side, in line with halfway between the connection of the pec in the intercostal space is the beginning of pericardium. So feel on yourself, please. The direction in a lot of texts is that it's 1 body inch lateral of the nipple. But this is an arbitrary point, correct? So the nipple can be at different heights. So better if you look at the connection of the pec major, and halfway between that, just lateral, right in the intercostal space, you'll feel a dull ache. That's the beginning of pericardium, in between the ribs.
Wait, where? The first intercostal space?
No, here, look at it. So here's the pec major.
Yeah.
Connecting here, connecting down there. Halfway lateral in between that intercostal space, you'll feel a little dull ache.
And just right there on the muscle?
No, in
behind the muscle.
in between the ribs.
I need it.
Okay.
That's the intercostal space, in between the ribs.
But not through the muscle, not
No.
through pec?
Well,
Like
no,
behind
it's lateral,
Okay, so.
in between the ribs.
So like, I don't know, it's just sore everywhere, right?
Well, in that general area. I'll show you when you get worked on. It's a little bit more specific. Okay, here. So let's move on then from this point starting. Okay. Here now, focus please. That it follows the contour of the pec major. So you can take it from here and press into the contour of pec major. And then it comes right between the bicep heads. So like when you were working that lower portion of bladder meridian between the gastroc, this portion of pericardium goes right in between the bicep heads, right in this groove. Right? Oh, laughing at my bicep, eh? That's right, I have some funny muscles. That's from me poking on them all these years, showing you where the pericardium meridian is. Yeah. So it's in between that those bicep heads. So look, nice. And if you come down like this, very nice way to stimulate. And you come to the wrist, the elbow crease. And I'd like you to pin here and just pull. This opens up the wrist quite a bit. So this is very good for carpal pain. If you pin the wrist, thumb and index finger, and you just lean back, you have nice traction of the wrist, and it takes the pressure off the wrist crease, and it allows the chi to flow a little bit more freely so that you can stimulate source point a little clearer. So that traction move, because it opens up the joint, allows the chi to flow, but also any points on the on that crease, you can get at them a little better. So pericardium here, right through the center, because you're going right in line with the middle finger. Source point right in the center of the transverse wrist crease in between the two tendons of this and that, whatever those muscles are called. And in stimulating, you go right in the center of the wrist crease, in between the tendons, but I would recommend you bringing the hand back a little bit. It goes right into the point. A lot of times when you initiate movement in the body area that you're trying to stimulate, it creates some slack and you can go into it a little easier. Okay? And then you want to follow it right out the center of the palm and right out the tip of the middle finger. That's pericardium.
Is it which side of the biceps tendon is it? I always forget.
It comes on the thumb side.
Thumb side.
Is the source point in front of the carpal tunnel, or is it behind?
The source point is right in the middle of the wrist crease. So right in the middle of the transverse wrist crease, where you're right there, and right out the middle finger. Right in line with the middle. Right in line with the middle. Okay, so next is the heart meridian. And the heart meridian starts right in the center of the armpit. Oh yeah, really, it's rather vulnerable place. So you want to just take your thumb and just sink in. Okay. And then the meridian comes right between the bicep and the tricep on the inside. And it's right in front of you, so you can just really sink in, get heart meridian. Really sink in and get heart meridian. And the heart meridian comes out the little finger, so you're just moving towards the little finger.
Good filming, Jeff.
Pardon me?
Jeff's doing a great job filming.
Oh yeah.
Great
She's in action. Now, the source point is, again, right at the end of the wrist crease. And if you look at your hand, and please do occasionally look at the heart meridian. If you draw a line between the fifth and fourth finger straight down, right below the wrist crease, this is where the source point is. And again, you want to initiate movement, and you go right into it. Very nice. And then the meridian continues up on the palm of the hand, and it goes in between the fourth and fifth finger in that groove. And it comes up the inside of the little finger and ends at the corner nail of the little finger, which is also a shiatsu first aid point. It's like a defibrillator for your heart if anybody's having.
Oh yeah?
No way. Yeah, if you stick any piece of a finger in anybody's mouth and bite down, it'll
But it might,
fibrillate.
it might be like carry a handy wipe so you can sanitize or gargle afterwards.
Because there's some superficial nerves there, yeah. Between
I
the
hope so.
bicep and
Yeah,
tricep.
it's just yeah, it is. But you're not pressing real hard. You just go right in between bicep and tricep. Let your breath guide you. You know, we're talking a lot about what's the appropriate pressure. And the appropriate pressure is, first of all, starting from your appropriate attention to seeing what's going on. And when you lean in, just lean in until the body stops giving you space to lean into, and just stop. No harder than that. Harder than that is ego, not necessary. You're trying to impress yourself. How could I know? They need this amount of pressure. How do you know? Don't know. They know. We have to get in a place where we can listen to them. So, those three meridians, lung, pericardium, and heart. Right? And the source points all on the wrist crease. And it continues out for the lung into the palm and out the thumb, through the center of the palm and out the middle finger. And for the heart in between the fourth and fifth finger and on the inside of the little finger and ending at the corner there. Okay? So let's do those three on each palm. Okay? Yeah.
So I didn't get to ask my two questions, my other two questions.